Thank you, Senator Tester and Steve. I'm going to introduce David Sirota, the other co-chair of the Progressive States Network, my friend, my brother-in-arms, the author of best-selling book Hostile Takeover, a great friend of working people and all progressives in this country, and a real up-and-coming leader, I believe, in our movement. David Sirota.
Thank you. First and foremost, I just wanted to thank Bernie, Senator Tester, Al Franken for being here, Keith Ellison, who will be here very shortly. He's finishing up a vote in the House, and all of our state legislators who are here. You know, I am constantly in awe of all of the elected officials who do this, who fight for our cause every day. You know, I'm pretty good at sort of trying to put pressure on people, and our organization exists to try to whip people into doing the right thing. But ultimately, these are the people who are on the front lines, and it's not an easy job. Whether you're a state legislator or a U.S. senator or any other public official, it's a very, very difficult job, and that's why we started the Progressive States Network, to support the people who are fighting the good fight every single day. For too long, our side has been completely outgunned. Conservative legislators, just like conservative senators and congressmen, have been supported, have been fueled by a right-wing movement, and that has had a real effect on this country. It's not a coincidence that this country has moved, the public policies of this country have moved to the right in conjunction with a support structure for conservative public officials. And so we started this organization as a way to help our side fight back and fight for a progressive agenda. And I think that in the first year of this organization, we have been enormously successful, thanks to all of you who are here, thanks to the Progressive States Network staff, and thanks, most importantly, to the state legislators who have been willing, enthusiastically, to work with us to push a progressive agenda in our states. If we do not do this, if we do not continue to focus on the state level, we will continue to have state policies that shift this country further and further to the right, and I might add, further and further away from where the center of American public opinion really is. Right now, at the state level, state policies affect people's daily lives in at least as important a way as federal policy. Whether it's tax policy, whether it's education policy, whether it's health policy, state legislatures are the place where the right wing has been able to dominate. They have literally governed this country from our state legislatures. But I think as we've seen in this session, this legislative session, we've seen an emboldened progressive movement. We've seen more and more success. And I think we can be optimistic that we are going to start winning that battle at the state level. Now, obviously, we're here in Washington, and that setting asks us how our state legislatures focus on federal policy. The fact that within weeks of George W. Bush announcing his escalation for the war in Iraq, we saw state after state after state respond with resolutions saying this is unacceptable and the Congress must act to stop this, has a huge amount to do with the fact that the Congress has acted. We saw in state after state after state serious debates about the Iraq war. Just as one example, in Colorado, we saw a hearing room packed with people to discuss that state's resolution, which ultimately passed the state Senate there. We saw front page coverage of people debating how the Iraq War impacts that state. And that has happened everywhere. And again, if we as a movement didn't have progressive legislators who were willing to go out there and take a risk and say, this may not be politically easy, but I am standing up to say that this escalation is unacceptable, we would never have had that debate. We would never have had that pressure on Washington. And I think what we saw out of this, the fact that Washington is actually starting to take this issue seriously, shows what an investment in our state legislatures really can bring. Now I'm going to introduce Lisa Seitz-Gruel, who is representing Deborah Rappaport. And Deborah Rappaport has been critical in this effort. Deborah Rappaport founded Skyline Public Works along with her husband Andy in 2003. And what Skyline Public Works does is blend venture capital with political philanthropy. Andy and Deborah were ultimately the original people who came forward and said, this is something we want to invest in. We want to invest in helping the progressive movement at the state level. Deborah and Andy, they care about all of the progressive issues in the progressive agenda. They, in particular, have been incredible pioneers in pushing to expand and defend voting access through Election Day registration for voters. They have been pivotal in forming the Progressive States Network. They have been pivotal in pushing a progressive agenda at the state level. Lisa is the Chief Operating Officer of Skyline Public Works. Deborah was not able to be here at the last minute, and she's going to accept the award and our gratitude for being somebody and being an organization that has been willing to invest in the state level, you know, at a time that the debate sometimes seems very, very focused on the Beltway. We really need to be thankful for people who are willing to invest at the less glamorous state level. And I think Andy and Deborah Rappaport have been pioneers. And Lisa, I want, on our behalf, I want to thank you, and I want to thank Skyline Public Works. Lisa Seitz-Gruel.